Smith & Wesson 629 44 Magnum. We'll also shoot specials. The specials are a little bit less relevant in this gun than 38s are in a 357. Just for the simple fact that most of the time the 44 special is just as expensive, if not more expensive, than the Magnums. So they're kind of, relegated to hand loaders and guns that are specifically chambered for 44 special. Most people, when they look at the price of it, and if you can even find it, now with the advent of the internet, you can find it much easier than what you used to be able to. But I've got a box or so, a couple defensive hollow point, some of the Underwood, I think. And not that it isn't a good round; it's an excellent round. I'm not knocking it in any way. It's just, it's not the same as 38 and 357. It's just not, and that's one of the reasons why the 357 is such a popular gun is because of the 38. Not that the 44 isn't. The 44 Magnum. I mean, it's a very popular gun, but probably not as popular as the 357. Right here we got some atomic hollow points. Very cool looking hollow point. These are about 1,200 foot-pounds of energy. Not out of this gun. That's probably, a 6 or 8 inch barrel. But still, these are pretty powerful. These are some decent loads. One thing about the 629 is that you can only fire certain loads out of it. Some of the really hot stuff from Buffalo Board, they say don't fire it in this. It's pretty much for Rugers or any other type of gun like that, where it's a much beefier frame and gun. So that's something to take into account. Some of their barrel loads that they've got, their hard cast, it's upwards of 1,500 foot-pounds of energy, which is quite a bit, and it's just a little too hot for this. They may have some other ones now, but I was looking for some, and I was reading about it and seeing that, and that was kind of a shame, honestly, that those loads can't be shot out of this gun. Or if you do, you're doing it at your own risk. You blow the gun up. So I mean, I take his word for what it is. They know what they're talking about. So that's one disadvantage of this gun right out the gate. Not that it's a deal breaker. It's certainly not. I prefer this over the Rugers. Look, feel, trigger, everything. The Ruger Super Red Hawk, Super Black Hawks and stuff are great guns. They got a cult following behind them. Cult, not Colt. Cult following. Cult following. My accent, if I have one. It's getting in the way a little bit there. But they have a very big following behind them. And rightly so. They're great guns. Really no complaints there. But this gun is also right there. It's known for its accuracy and reliability. Great hunting gun. Maybe not as much in a 4-inch as it would be in a 6-inch. I kind of like the 4-inch. A lot of these are in 6-inch. 4-inch is a little bit harder to find, especially in an older one, and hence why I've got one with the lock. And we could talk about that now. The locks to me aren't a deal breaker. I've got 2 guns with lock, and it's unsightly. I don't like the hole, but they've got a plug you can take the lock out and put a plug in there. That's pretty cool. That really helps the look of it, and then you don't have to worry about the lock. But it doesn't bother me that much. Maybe the classic guns, you know, like the new Model 29s and stuff. They got a hole in them. That's a little bit different. I think their classic line, you know, I'm not sure why they put a lock on it. I think it's just to keep them from to be liable for them. I remember when they came out with the locks, it was like, what are they doing? Honestly, the lock doesn't bother me as much as the position. I really wish the lock was right here on the hammer like Taurus. The Taurus, a lot of people don't even know they have a lock on them, but they do. It's right there on the hammer. A Smith & Wesson would be wise to move that lock from there because it just ticks people off. I think it would tick less people off if it wasn't on the side of the gun like that. It looks bad. It really does. But it's not a deal breaker. It's definitely not a deal breaker. It doesn't affect the functionality of the gun. Once upon a time, I think they said, some of these could engage and stuff. I've never seen that. I've never had it happen. I wouldn't put much into that. If you have a gun that you've shot, 44, 357, 38, whatever, it's got a lock and it's done that, there's probably something wrong with it. Somebody's gotten in there and messed with it or something, and it shouldn't be engaging. So but that's not something that would keep me from buying this gun. Obviously, this is my gun, and I think that is not a good excuse to not buy this. Is worried about the recoil engaging that. I mean, they got the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnums and stuff with the locks. They've got it perfected. Maybe once upon a time, but not anymore. So we'll get that out of the way. The lock, if you can find one without a lock, hey man, more power to you. I mean, that's great. You're gonna pay more for it though, no doubt about it. It's gonna cost you more. Supposedly the newer ones actually shoot a little bit faster than older ones. I don't know at what point in time, but tighter tolerances and stuff make them shoot a little bit faster, so you get a little bit more power out of a newer one. You can check Buffalo Bore's site, and he basically says that. You can see that some of the guns with a 5-inch barrel actually shoot less than a gun with a 4-inch barrel because it's an older gun. So that's kind of cool. That they could shoot, your velocity will be a little bit more, maybe. I'm not saying that every single gun with a 4-inch barrel is faster than every single older gun with a 6-inch barrel. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it could be because the tolerances and stuff could be tighter, is what I've seen. I have not tested that. Take it for what it's worth. But Buffalo Bore seems to make that point in his testing that the newer Smiths can be a little bit faster. I've seen other things aside from his on Pythons, and Pythons, Colt Pythons aren't generally fast shooting guns. And whenever I mean fast, I mean the muzzle velocity. They're just not that fast. They're substantially slower than Ruger's and Smith & Wesson. So take that for what it's worth. But I changed the front sight on this to oh man, what is it? Is it a Williams? Maybe it's an LPA. Yeah, it's an LPA. You can see that right there, LPA. To do that sight, you have to knock out that, see that little hole right there? You got to knock out that pin, and then you drop this sight in, and then you got to drill it. You got to drill a hole. It's kind of a pain to install it, but once you do, it's got a really good sight picture on it. It's not really glowing right now because the light ain't hitting it right, but when it does, it's a really good sight picture. So yeah, I changed that from the front blade to that style. The rear sight is the factory, just adjustable. I actually polished the trigger. Whenever I say the trigger, I mean the outside of the trigger here. You can see I actually polished that. Most of the time they're like a black, and they don't look very good. I think this looks much better. Just took some polish and Dremel and have Dremel will travel. You can see the grips aren't the original grips. I put these Pachmeyers on there because they cover up the back strap. With this gun, it's not so much the recoil as it is just the impulse that you know, whenever you got that exposed back strap, it you know, you can feel it in the palm of your hand. This gun doesn't recoil that bad. This is about the hottest stuff I've shot out of it, which is, like I said, pretty hot, 240 grain. At least on paper, it's one of the hotter loads. It's pretty hot, and I've actually got a video of me shooting it, just 2 rounds, and you can see it kicks a little bit, but it's nothing that's undoable. You know, it's not, you know, boom. It's nothing like that. You know, you just get a toof, toof. You know, it's nothing bad. You know, could a, you know, 80-year-old woman shoot it? Yeah, if she had to, but you know, it's definitely gonna, you know, if she's never shot a gun before, it's definitely gonna rock her. But you know, if she had to, she could. It depends on how frail she is, but you know, it's nothing that's you know, outlandish or anything. At least not to me. Much less than what I thought, especially with the 4-inch barrel. Honestly, a lot of the small 357s will rock your world. So this gun right here is good to go. I changed that. If you've seen some of my other videos, maybe I've got this in the Bear Defense one. I like changing these out. I don't like the new style. The new styles don't work for me. They're, in my humble opinion, garbage compared to these. You know, if you like them, great. I don't. Yeah, just an awesome gun. If you don't have a 629 in your collection, at least the 4-inch, man, you need to get one. It will change your collection. And man, this thing has got, you can see it's unloaded. It's got a really good trigger. The double action is really good. I mean, I was shooting it all in double action in my couple videos that I got up, and it just shoots like a dream. I could just shoot it all day long. I mean, it just, you know, we was about 15 yards and you know, hitting the brick, you know, exactly where I was wanting to hit it at, and it's just an awesome gun. I would have no qualms about, you know, hunting with this, as long as in your jurisdiction, you know, the barrel length is legal and stuff. Deer hunting, no problem. You know, this is a deer hammer hog. Good trail gun, you know, for bear, or even if you're, you know, there's hogs and stuff, anything, you know, honestly, anything. Home defense, yeah, absolutely. You may want to put a little bit lighter load, but I mean, you could put this load in there and be well armed. You know, this is not overkill. By no means is this overkill. This is a great round. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thinking about getting one? Definitely get you one. Thanks for watching.